Today we are going to continue solving quadratics by factoring, but it's going to involve just a tad bit more work, okay? So kind of like factoring, but level two. It's a little harder. Um, so I do want to remind you that when it comes to factoring, that we always want to look for a GCF first, okay? Um, All right, so let's do example one together. 3x squared plus 9x minus 12. So it's already set equal to 0, so I don't need to worry about step one. Step two is factoring. So I do notice that they all are divisible by 3, okay? This would be like 3 times 1, 3 times 3, 3 times 4. So if I take out what they all have in common, and then write my leftovers in parentheses, I'll have a 1x squared, a 3x, and a minus 4 as my leftovers, and that equals 0. So I have found a GCF, but I'm still not done factoring. I have this that I still need to do next, okay? So negative 4 and positive 3. So let's say 4 times 1 is 4, but 4 minus 1 is 3. So I now have two factors. I have x plus 4 and x minus 1 equals 0. Keep forgetting to write that. Okay, so I am done with the factoring part. And that's really all that was different from yesterday, is that I might need to find a GCF first, or I might be having to do a factoring problem where my a value is not equal to 1, okay? So here we go. X equals negative 4, x equals positive 1. And now you could say 3 equals 0, right? Because I said x plus 4 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. I said all three equal to 0. These two with the x values, I could actually solve them. But 3 equals 0 is just a statement, which is not true. So that will not be included in my solution. My solution will just be negative 4 comma 1, or my two solutions, okay? All right, let's look at number 2. I'm going to do all 4 of these examples with you for today's lesson. Example number 2, it's already set equal to 0, so I don't have to worry about that. I do see 3 numbers that are all divisible by 5. Every one of them is divisible by 5. So I'm going to take out that GCF. And what I will be left with is x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay, now I'm ready to do the x puzzle. Negative 12 goes on top, negative 4 goes on bottom. Let's see, 6 and 2 is 12. Okay, and if I do 2 minus 6, I can get to the negative 4. So I have x minus 6, x plus 2. Now I'm ready to find my solutions. So if it's inside a parenthesis with an x, we can turn that into what our solution should be. If it is outside by itself, it is not going to be a part of that solution, okay? And then my final answer is negative 2 comma 6, or my final set of answers. All right, example number 3. 2, 3, and 5 do not have a GCF in common. So I have checked for that. Now I notice that my A value is greater than 1. So I am going to need to slide and multiply. And then that 3 goes in bottom. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. Let's see, 5 minus 2 is 3. So I have x plus 5, x minus 2. And then don't forget that we need to, because we multiplied by the 2, we have to divide by the 2. So 2 over 2 is very simple, just 1. And then remember what we do here. Well, I'm just going to leave it like this for right now. When we have a factor that we need to solve and get a solution from, it is sometimes easier just to leave it just how you see it there, because now I know that that solution is negative 5 halves, and this is positive 1. And so my solutions are negative 5 halves and positive 1. Great job. Last example that we're going to do for today, and then I'm going to leave you with some you try problems, okay? So I'm already set equal to 0. I have an 8, a 22, and a 5, so no GCF. But I do have an A value greater than 1, so slide and multiply. Fill in your X puzzle. All right, there's a lot of things that multiply to give you 40. So let's try 40 times 1, 20 times 2, 5 times 8, 4 times 10. Okay, which of those might be able to add together and get to a negative 22? And I think this one. 20 and 2. If they're both negative, they'll add up to be negative 22. And remember, multiplying two negatives together gives you a positive. So I have x minus 20 and x minus 2. Awesome. And now I need to divide them both by 8. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce these fractions to the best of my ability. So 2 over 8 is 1 over 4. And 20 over 8 is going to reduce, let's see, they're both divisible by 4. So x minus 5 over 2. I divided both of those numbers by 4. Okay, and now I'm ready to get my solutions or roots or zeros or x-intercepts. Remember, those are all words that are used for this. And when I solve these, both of those fractions come out positive. And so here is my final set of solutions. 1 over 4 and 5 over 2. Excellent job. Okay, down here, these are the 4 that I'm going to ask you to try. I am going to scroll down to the bottom and write all of the answers for you. But if you're going to check yourself, I want you to be able to stop this right here and give them a try. Today, what we're doing is the hardest way of factoring, because it's the hardest kind of factoring mixed with quadratics, and it's a lot to work through. So it is super important that we practice, okay? So pause the video, and then at the bottom, I'll write your answers. All right, and so these are the solutions for the 4 practice problems that I left for you. So keep practicing, take your time with this. I know it's not easy. Call me if you need to. Until next time.